Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is April, and in today's video I thought I would show you some of the plants that I've never shown before or I've stopped talking about for one reason or another. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first prickly plant that I have is one that we potted up in my transferring cactus, I think it was my transferring succulents to leca video. And honestly, I haven't took him out of this pot since I potted him into leca, and he's actually grown quite a bit. How freaking cute. I'm really not sure if he's supposed to be growing like that or not. So I only have about 2 succulents in leca. One's in pon, but out of the 2 that are in leca, they are doing fairly well, surprisingly. I think this is a blueberry cactus. I remember when I bought it over a year ago now. I think the label did say it was a blueberry cactus or a blueberry merle cactus, something like that. If you do know the name of this cactus, please leave it below. This is one of the plants that I stopped talking about because if you have cactus, you kind of just leave them alone. I do water it probably once every 2 weeks, so this is definitely not a high maintenance plant. I'm trying to get as close as I can so you guys can see the pickies on him. I've gotten stabbed by this plant multiple times. So that's really why I try to leave it alone. We have another cactus here that I do not talk about ever. I think this is a prickly pear cactus. I'm pretty sure it is. Look how thin it is. But why is it growing like this? Like, look at this thing. I'll insert a picture of when I first transferred him to leca. He was so tiny and now he's super, super, super long. I had posted a picture of him in a Facebook plant group and people said that he looked like this because he's reaching for the sun. So I do try to put him in higher light now, but it just keeps getting taller and taller. Like, it's taller than my head. Oh my god. It can barely fit in the frame, but this is how tall it is. I haven't measured it at all. And I honestly don't talk about it because it has pickies on it, so I don't really pick him up often. Because every time I do, I end up with a splinter, and it's never a good time. I think this is my wackiest plant for sure. I never really thought that I would buy any cactus because when I was younger, my great-grandma had a bunch of cactus and we couldn't keep our hands off of them, which led to a lot of splinters. So I don't know why I have cactus when I was clearly traumatized. The next plant that I wanted to show you is this Maranta. I forgot what this one is called, but I've had this for a long time. I bought it at Lowe's, one of those like $3 plants. I propagated it and it's in pon now, but she grows and she's growing and I won't get rid of it because it's freaking adorable. Like, how freaking cute is this? Anytime I put her into one of those DIY humidity bins that I made, it literally will put out a new leaf the next day. But that humidity bin is currently taken over by all of those Hoya Curtsii cuttings that I took that are all dying right now. But that's a conversation for another video. I thought I would show you my Philodendron Mamiya in this video since I haven't been on a video talking about it since I got it. I did post a quick short of this plant, but look at this plant, guys. It's so gorgeous. It just put out this little tiny leaf. And when I first got this plant, I posted a short of it, like I said, and it looked so good. But literally within the same week, it started declining once I ripped it out of soil, which wasn't a surprise because plants are bound to go into shock when you do something like that. But nevertheless, hold on, my leg is itchy. He did perk back up and he's putting out this leaf. And there's also, let me see if I can get you to see it. There's another leaf already starting to come out. And like I said, when I first got this plant, I did think that it was dying, so I started air layering it. And I'm not sure if actually it is working. I literally see a root. There's a little red root poking. I'm not sure if you can, yeah, you're definitely not going to be able to see it. I need to water the sphagnum moss in here because it's really, really dry and that's not good for air layering, but other than that, this is a plant that I've never talked about because the first 2 weeks that I got it, it was dying and I had to go into rescue mode. It's the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I can't wait to chop this up and propagate it. Another succulent real quick is a Starfish Sansevieria. Because if you're like me and you started watching Plantarina as soon as you got into plants, you probably wanted one of these. And I've had one since 2020. And here she is. You can't even really see this plant because it's just a bunch of like legs sticking up, but that's the print on the legs, which is super cool. One of my favorite Sansevieria. And it looks like, oh, let me get closer. Look at how many new little thingies it's putting out, new stalks. One right there, there's one right here. There's actually 2 coming out over here. And she's just so cool. I love this plant. So another plant that I stopped talking about is my Varicosum. And look at how crappy it looks now. That was the last leaf it put out. And it doesn't look that good. But I'm still trying and I'm holding on to hope with this plant. And the reason why I stopped talking about it obviously is because it's freaking looking like shit. But he is still growing. He's currently putting out this leaf right here that looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it really does. It looks pretty good. So I would not give up on this plant because it used to be my favorite plant and I am dedicated to reviving it. So it has the coolest leaves ever. I guess I can show you my one leafer, my Scindapsus tribii Moonlight. I think I propagated this in a very, very old video, and this little cutting is all I've had from that video in the past 10 months to a year. It does, however, have a tiny little growth point right there, and it did grow 2 other leaves that ended up dying off, so I've had it looking like this for a long time. I made this little wild fern inspired plank for her to be staked on. And it looks like it's working pretty well. The roots have already grown through the plank. This is my Philodendron Birkin, who's not doing that well. We have some yellowing leaves, very, very yellow leaf. And the reason why I stopped talking about this plant is because I don't really like it anymore, if I'm being honest. And it's pretty, but I mean, it just grows super, super slow. I don't really like this like stalk that it's on. Like, I don't like how that looks. I might propagate this plant. But I've been propagating so much lately that it's like I need to chill before I have nowhere to put any of these plants. Philodendron Birkin is a plant that I stopped talking about because it's just not one of my favorites, to be honest, and that's okay. That does bring me to the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until my next video, bye guys.